blah, 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 you know? Oh, sorry. Hey, hi, everyone. Hey, hi, everyone. Welcome to All Bronze, No Brains, episode number 33. Don't know why I'm doing it like that. Tony's
doing 33 Macarena.
Oh, gorgeous. I thought you were being your woman from that. What's that thing called?
Oh,
What's that from?
Hunger Games.
Didn't make one to think. So, no, don't laugh at that. Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about episode 21 of season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is what our podcast is about. It's two idiots talk about Buffy, and this episode is called Becoming Part 1. It's written and directed by Joss Whedon. It aired in May 12th, 1998. So what did you think? I think you don't really like this one, do you? Is this one of the ones you're like...
One of my least favorite episodes. No, it's just... No, I loved it so much that I becoming... Let's just jump right in.
Oh, let's do it.
So we open in Galway, Ireland, 1753. The first of many flashbacks in this episode, which is great. We hear a voiceover saying, here's the thing, there's moments in your life that set the course of who you're going to be. Sometimes they're little subtle moments, sometimes they're not. I'll show you what I mean. And obviously now by this point we know that Joss Whedon loves a voiceover.
I know we figured out who it is by the end, who's doing the voiceover, but initially I thought it was Oz.
Wrong.
That's Short King kind of voice.
Yeah, I thought that you would love him actually because you love the other kind of New Yorkie character from...
Yeah, I do really like him.
So we see Angel and a friend getting kicked out of Weatherspoons because they've ran out of money and they're absolutely steaming. Angel says, let's go rob my dad of all his silver forks and stuff. He won't miss them because he eats with his hands, the dirty pig bastard. Let's talk about the accent, shall we? Not that bad.
Didn't really care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I actually don't care. I just was like, okay, he's having a go. He's nowhere near it.
I think I didn't mind it so much because I'm like, I can't do an Irish accent, even though I'm from Northern Ireland. So it felt very like, dardle. It's like, oh, we'll go to my dad's house and steal his silver forks and stuff. Angel's was better than mine.
True, it was.
But to be fair, it's the second best Irish accent in the show after Kendra's.
I sort of gave him a pass and didn't give a shit and just was digging the story, to be honest.
Angel's mate passes out in the street and Angel notices a fancy schmancy Renaissance woman in an alleyway, and it's Darla.
Surprise, bitch.
The return of Julie Benz.
Darla.
So obviously this shows us that this is Angel pre-vampire. Angel asks her what she's doing and Darla says,
Maybe I'm lonely.
and he offers himself as an escort. And I'm like, I'm sure you do, you big rent boy bastard. Darla asks,
Are you certain you're up to the challenge?
and I've just missed that voice so much. It's not as squeaky as what it used to be, but
I was about to say, you're doing a squeakier voice than what she did. I was remembered it different.
one of the big things I think that really elevated this, I think I've maybe touched on it later. This is one of the first times they used a built set, like in a studio, because Buffy was shot in warehouses and stuff, like where they had built stuff.
Okay.
So this is probably, I think, on like the back lot, like Universal, where they've got like that you can go around. So I
Yeah,
think
they've
it
got
just,
like New York, they've got like different scenes.
and a load of people pointed out to me this week actually on Instagram, and it's been doing the rounds on Reddit, that in Galway there is actually like a little wooden plaque that says it's here in 1753 that Liam O'Malley became Angel.
Actually,
It's so funny. Yeah, it's
That's
funny
so
that
good.
someone...
That's very
I'll
funny.
pop it in here. It's funny that someone's done that. Oh yeah, so Darla asks him if he's up for the challenge, and Angel says, well, you'll find with the exception of an honest day's work, there's no challenge I'm not prepared to face.
I don't know if you're doing Kendra or Angel, but keep her lit.
And Darla's like,
I can show you the world.
Shining, shimmering.
Splendid.
she tells him to close his eyes, and we see her vamp face, and she bites him, and then she slits her ditties and makes Angel drink, which will make him into a vampire.
That was quite the interesting way to turn him.
I think that obviously there's a big sexual metaphor.
I actually thought it was more maternal than... I wasn't getting more sexual and more like motherly, because that's from the bosom, feeding the child and all.
Oh, see, I was thinking sexual because Angel says to her like, "Oh, do you know the women who hang around this alleyway, like what they are?" It's basically the Galway version of the Albert Clark. But yeah, like we said, the sets are great, the costumes are great, the score and everything already is great setup.
Mhm.
And yeah, I thought because this alleyway was frequented by sex workers that this was meant to almost be the exchange of bodily fluids and all of that is a big sexual thing. What are you smiling at? Oh my god.
Don't smile.
This is where we cut to Sunnydale present day, 1998. We see Angel watching Buffy fight two vampires. This is where we do, again, epic score, keeps her lit. Great fighting straight off. This early in the episode, getting good fights like this is obviously like bodes well for the rest of the episode. Buffy stakes one of the vampires and tells the other one to give Angel a message.
Tell him I'm done waiting. I'm taking the fight to him. You got that? Need me to write it down for you?
And in the end, ends up staking him anyway. And it's like, fine, I'll tell him myself, which I thought was a cute little button. Buffy walks off camera to help Xander, which we didn't see him, did we? We helped Xander up, who was obviously helping the patrol. Xander comments that 5 vampires in 3 nights, but no sign of Angel.
Oh, we better go. I haven't even started studying for finals yet.
Oh, yeah, finals. Why didn't you let me die?
Buffy says, look at the bright side. It'll all be over soon. Chekhov's
statement.
The Chekhov statement, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then Angel's like, yes, my love, it will. Like, so dramatic as fuck. My favorite ones are like whenever it's in a movie and like someone walks away and it's like, whatever, fucker. And it's like, what'd you say?
These kids will never know what hit them.
And neither will you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Huh? What?
You just said something.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
We cut to some archaeologists like blowing on a big rock. Yeah. When Giles rocks in looking like a busy Indiana Jones or something, this is quite like his wee briefcase and all. He's like, oh, you needed me? Doug the architect, who looks like the least. He is not an architect. Sorry, Doug the architect. Doug the archaeologist, who looks like the least not too stereotype archaeologist, but he looks like he should be.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whip or a hat or a satchel.
So how is he able to do his job? So Doug the archaeologist tells him who's recommended because he's the best authority on obscure relics. How do you get that reputation?
I guess you just start knowing stuff about obscure relics, and then all of a sudden someone's like, you know what? He's actually the best authority on obscure relics.
Do you know who knows loads of stuff about obscure relics? That wee fella was in talking about obscure relics the other day. What's her name? Jads.
I love getting my ancient burger and putting relics on it. Sorry.
The bit that gets you when you figure out a joke in your head in the moment is you trying not to laugh to get to the punchline.
Yeah.
That's what makes me. So we see this giant, big, mucky rock with some like rune markings on it that was dug up by the town construction workers or something. They found it somewhere they were digging up. Giles scrapes at it and says, I assumed you haven't tried to open it yet, revealing that it's not solid, not salad. Revealing that it is not solid and that they're not salad. No, David, you never have salad.
I've got a bag of salad in my fridge, right?
Yes, Giles reveals the fact that there's a door. He scrapes. The fact that they've been blowing at it for ages and he just rocks up with a bit of a pencil and starts scraping like fuck at it. Adam and going, she's been dusting at it with his wee fucking feather duster for days, probably going, ooh. He comes up with a knife. There's a door, open it up. Giles asks them to wait until he can translate the text so they have an idea what might be inside, which is all ominous.
Ominous.
I just love it whenever the episode starts and they just go, 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 go. Do you know what I mean? There's no waffle. There's no, like, even later on, even some of the expositions is just done off camera a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which I love because it's like, we don't need to know exactly why all the time. Like, just show me the fucking vampires digging the fuck out of Buffy.
Xander's reenacting Buffy's battle from last night with some fish fingers.
Tell Angel, I'm gonna kill him. No, wait. I'm gonna kill you. Die! Die!
Scene. Exactly how it happened.
I found Xander to be really cute doing this, and I found it even cuter that Cordelia's like smiling at him, like while he's doing it. Again, this is obviously Joss Whedon knows these characters better than anyone, and you can really tell
Yeah.
when he does. Well, obviously because Xander is a bit more frustrating in this episode too at certain points. So like it's obviously Joss Whedon inserting himself into it.
Wow.
At the lunch table we see that's dirty. At the lunch table we see the whole gang, and Oz is back, and Willow's sitting on his knee.
When we were in school, I used to hate
would have
when
been
you'd have
weird
a
if
couple that
someone's-
were really. They used to get the odd couple that would be really affectionate, and it was always like it was just always like, so fuck off. Would you go over there and do that?
Willow asks Buffy if she's ready to fight Angel, and Buffy says that she wishes people would stop asking her that. Although it is a fair question because she hasn't been able to kill him so far. So
I know, fair.
and he killed one of your mates.
And they're all shitting themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And Buffy says it's the one test she might actually pass, but Willow scolds her and tells her that she'll get her through every test and not to worry, and they can revise when she's done teaching the computer class.
Yeah. No, when I'm done on work, honey, I'll help you revise.
Yeah, after work. Cordy mentions that Willow's got the teaching bug, and she thinks it's great that Willow's doing that before she goes out and fails in the real world. That way, you're not falling back on something, you're falling forward.
I quite like that.
I love that line, especially when Xander then says, like, almost 65% that was actual compliment. Do you think that's a personal best?
Gee, Xander, what are you gonna teach when you fail in life? Advanced loser being?
I will teach the language of love.
Don't touch me, you have fish hands.
Come, let me connect. Let me. That's enough of that.
He's cute, and he, like, rubs his fish fingers all over and says he's going to teach the language of love. And I just love them together.
Yeah, me too. But it's the fact that he's using fish fingers. It's just what we used to use as an analogy of someone who had been someone. Smell
Yeah.
your fish fingers.
I wouldn't know. I've never fingered anyone. Just bumholes.
Shocker.
You eat chocolate fingers.
It's chocolate.
Snyder comes in and shouts at them, and he tells them that public displays of affection are not acceptable in his school. This isn't an orgy, people. It's a classroom. And Buffy responds, yeah, where they teach lunch. I feel like now I can understand why some of our teachers hated us, because this is the kind of sarcasm that we would have had.
Especially me and you. We were fucking awful. Imagine teaching.
Yeah.
I would have been a nightmare teaching us.
Yeah, I would hate to have taught us. Oh, so I just got out of breath as I breathed in. Oh my god, that was so weird. It's like I breathed. I breathed.
It sounded like I thought someone stabbed you from behind. No, like you go like. Like
It's like I breathed in, but as I breathed in, I must have breathed out or something, and I was like instantly out of breath.
Sorry, it's so delicate when you hear it back. Just think of someone like being thrown off a cliff, like none of those deaths that are just like,
Yeah.
like, just take their breath. That's what. Oh, it's so funny. Fucking hell.
Sorry. Snyder says to Buffy, just give me a reason to kick you out, Summers. Just give me a reason. Could you imagine your principal actually being like, I'm looking for reasons?
To get rid of you, specifically just you, out of thousands of kids in this school, just you little.
Yeah, you who continually saves people's lives
Yeah.
and has drastically lowered the mortality rate of this school.
Give me a fucking reason.
Just give me a reason to kick you out, Summers. Just give me a reason.
And Cordelia waits till he leaves and responds, how about because you're a tiny, impotent Nazi with a bug up his butt the size of an emu?
The use of emu was great,
Emu.
and I quite liked that Cordelia was sticking up for Buffy.
Yeah.
Rarely happens, so even though she didn't quite stick up for Buffy, but
I also love that this is basically a great description of like the current president of America.
something that he posted the other day that I thought was really, really funny was the Star Wars.
With the red lightsaber.
So Tony, you're a Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah.
What does a red lightsaber mean in the world of Star Wars?
That means that you're a
Yeah, so he was trying to say it was a good game.
which means you're the evil
What an
one.
idiot. Fuck's
Well,
sake.
fucking absolute idiot.
Even AI is like, yeah, we can't give him any other colour but red, though. We can't, like, I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Willow says to Buffy, "Come on over to mine after school and we can also study." But Buffy says she has to patrol because Angel always shows up when she least expects him.
Cut to London 1869, 1690, no, 1860. We see a young Catholic Drusilla.
We see a King Billy.
We see young Catholic Drusilla, pre-vampire, going to church to give her confession, and Angel's in the middle of murdering a priest in the confessional next to her. When she comes into the confessional, he isn't aware that she's about to come in, so he's almost like, oh, there's like a little. He's very funny. He does like a lot of. There's one bit later on that I cannot wait for us to talk about because I actually burst out laughing. It was so funny. But there's something about because he's so handsome and so rugged. When he does something a bit wacky, it's very funny because
Is it when he runs towards Buffy and his arms go up
right
in
when
the
he
air
does
like
the
that?
run and he goes like he runs like Ace Ventura, pew, like that, which
Yeah.
made me laugh so much. But even in this one, he's just being a little bit comical. I find it quite. He's very funny because he's very charming. I don't know. I thought it was really funny. So he pretends to be the priest for shits and giggles. To be fair, Drusilla says she had it. She's actually her voice isn't anywhere near as. I liked her
Yeah.
as the pre-vampire Drusilla. She was like really. That was just good, really good acting. Drusilla says she had a vision yesterday about the miners and had a horrible feeling. Her ma told her not to say anything, but this morning there was a cave-in and 2 men died. Her mum says she's cursed and her visions are an affront to the Lord, and Drusilla's crying, saying she doesn't mean to, and she's trying to be pure. She doesn't want to. I don't want to be an evil thing. Angel tells her that the Lord has a plan for everyone, even a devil child like her. He tells her she's a spawn of Satan and there's not enough Hail Marys to save her, and she should just go give in and be evil. She says she wants to be good and pure and begs Angel the priest for help. He says, very well, 10 Our Fathers and an act of contrition. God's always watching her. Good little scene.
It was great because even though like Angel is like comical, there's something that's really quite horribly evil about what he like knowing that she really purely wants to be good and he's telling her that she's never gonna, and it's quite sick.
And him proving it by turning her, and he fulfills that. She never is good. And also like like when I'm talking about him being comical, he doesn't break the tension. It sort of adds to the tension, the fact that he's not taking anything serious. And I think
Yeah.
early on, when maybe a different writer has been doing these, when he was, remember before he was too comical, it was like there's a happy. I feel like he's landed in it. He's found that like happy medium with being intimidating, but also like
I think it was his acting choices, to be fair.
yeah, probably.
But that's a thing that I think is also great to see just how far he's come, like from
Definitely.
season 1 to now. Like
And he's about to get his own TV show as well.
Spoilers.
I love like the strings in this section as it transitions to present day Drusilla coming down the steps of the mansion was very like unnerving.
Nice walk, Pat.
Like I have a lot of music notes in this episode. I think for good point. Like it's almost like a real living character in this episode.
Just took the words out of my mouth, but said it's like its own character. It's very important.
We're twins. Cut to present day Sunnydale again, and Drusilla is coming back from a walk. She says,
And I met an old man that got stuck in my
"Teeth." She says the moon started whispering to her
all sorts of dreadful things.
as Angel shows up asking her what did it say, and he slaps Spike on the back of the head as he walks in. Spike's still in his wheelchair, but remember, we know he actually doesn't need it. So, go ahead.
My God.
Drusilla says,
Terrible thing is coming at the museum. A tomb with a surprise inside.
Angel's like, wow, you can see that in your head. And Spike's like, nah, dickhead, she read it in the morning paper.
I quite like that. Like they got one over on him.
Drusilla says that that's what's been whispering to her. And Angel says, soon it will stop.
Soon it'll scream.
Like, what are you even talking about?
See, I think Angel with them two comes across as really naff or something, like a really uncool bully. But when he's around Buffy and the rest of them, he's kind of menacing and scary.
Like, Angel literally only found out about this rock 15 seconds ago. So to say something like, soon it will stop, soon it will scream, I'm like, right, calm yourself down, check.
But how do you know what? Fuck up. I know, yeah, fair.
And Drusilla's doing this thing where it looks like she's like catching flies. But the music, like the percussion is like this little, xylophone stringy thing, like So it looks like it's coming from her mouth, like the noise from The Grudge. You're like,
Oh, right, okay. This is where we cut to Buffy and Willow, who are studying, and Buffy's like, "I'm never going to get this," and calls herself a moron.
Will you stop that? You're not stupid. You've just had a lot on your mind. And you can learn this real easily, but if you're just gonna give up, then don't waste my time. Wow. Really are a good teacher.
Buffy's impressed with Willow standing up to her, which I kind of was too. I was like, fair play.
your Willow's like, I've got loads of homework to mark, so if you're just going to fucking waste my time.
Those kids are doing my head in. This is where Buffy's pencil rolls down the side of the desk, and we see the yellow floppy disk, the eternal yellow floppy disk. Have we seen this exact roll? Has she dreamt this or something before?
No.
Buffy picks up her pencil but misses the floppy disk. Buffy says, "Deja vu. I don't really get this kind of bit here," but with the pencil rolling off the desk and does it again, and this time she finds the floppy disk handed to Willow. So why is she...
You literally just said, have we seen this before?
Yeah, but
So
I
you,
thought
so
in
you
a
have
previous...
deja vu as well?
No, but I thought in a previous episode, like one of those where she's like having a dream about like the rest of the season or something. I think there's a...
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's funny, you were like, I think I've seen this before. And then Buffy's like, I think I've seen this before. And you're like, I don't get that.
No, I don't get why she thought she did.
Oh.
Because she doesn't watch her own TV show. She's like me. She
She
can't watch
does.
herself back.
She's
No,
watched
she's
her
like
home.
me. She can't.
No, she can.
No, she can't.
Omega Beta Zeta.
Podcast or a Buffy first time.
Sometimes the way the shadow in the back of your hair, in the back of your head is, it looks like you've got like black hair, like a mullet, like a black mullet. It just makes you look like Tiger King.
I've had some kinky sex. I have tried drugs through the younger years of my life.
She hands Willow the floppy disk, who thinks this might be Miss Calendar's, and sticks it in their laptop, which we all know if she was a proper IT security person, you never just put a random floppy disk into your computer. What if it's got a virus on it? Buffy says this feels kind of morbid, and Willow tells her she's been through most of her files already.
Does that make it less morbid or you really morbid? I had to teach her class. Relax, Will. I was making with the funny.
We see the disc put up on Willow's laptop, Translator Pro, the infamous Translator Pro. Buffy says, "Does that say restoration?" Willow tells her she thinks it's a spell.
Miss Calendar wasn't a practicing witch, but she did
Willow.
dabble. Oh boy.
Oh boy. You've not seen Quantum Leap before, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
I
right,
love
yeah.
Quantum Leap.
Is it like I always feel like her oh boys are always a reference or like a little nod to the oh boy in Quantum Leap.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I just figured she was saying, oh boy. The last one was very sexual. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I never said
This
that.
is different.
It is always different.
So we have another flashback. It does say Romanian woods, but is it meant to be Romanian woods?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Well, the Romanian woods in 1898. We see someone running through the woods, and we see the body of a young woman going through some sort of burial ritual, and a wee woman is in like a wee makeshift tent doing a spell. We see angels stumble out of the woods in front of like a bonfire. As the old woman finishes doing the spell, we see an orb of Thessala glow and disappear as Angel's eyes glow, and this is obviously the first time he was cursed with his soul.
I googled Romanian woods. Nothing's coming up. It keeps trying to autocorrect to Romanian.
Okay, I looked it up. So Romanian is an archaic, and I think the original way that they used to pronounce and spell Romanian. So I think they're pretty interchangeable. But for some reason, they used Romanian. And maybe it's because they wanted to imply that this was in the past and it's not present day. Because I think Jenny talks about, and her uncle talks, they say Romani. So I think there's supposed to be a distinction between the old and the new.
One of the tribesmen comes out of the wood and tells Angel that it hurts and it will hurt more, that everything he's done for 100 years will haunt him and he will know what true suffering is. And we see Angel start to break down. And I thought David's acting in this scene was really good.
I had the exact same thoughts. It's very genuine.
Because it's such a hard thing to kind of act with no words, to just be like, that's what I would have been like.
Ah,
I would have been like gooning and bailing at the bonfire.
Gunning?
Gooning is a kind of sex thing where you like wank for hours and smoke loads of, or do loads of poppers, like smoke loads of meth and do loads of poppers, and you're just like, True story.
Gooning typically refers to a state of intense arousal and stimulation that is often associated with the use of pornography or other sexual material. The term is believed to have originated in online forums and communities that focus on pornography and masturbation, where it has become a popular slang term for describing the experience of being highly aroused and deeply engaged in sexual fantasies or activities.
Cut to present day, Sunnydale in the library. Giles asks,
"What are you saying?"
And Willow and Buffy present him with a curse. Buffy looks a bit shaken, and Willow looks kind of proud. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't actually. I missed that.
Looks like Miss Calendar was trying to replicate the original curse to restore Angel's soul again.
I like that Willow has Buffy's back here before all shit breaks loose, that she's basically more sure that this is what she wants to do before even Buffy suggests it. They all realize basically that Angel killed Miss Calendar before she could tell anyone about the spell.
This is good, right? I mean, we can curse him again.
Well, this certainly points the way, but the ritual itself requires a greater knowledge of the black arts than I can claim.
And that's when Willow's like, well, I've been going through all of her files and researching the black arts for fun, educational fun. And she thinks that she could pull it off. And like, I love her acting here as well. I just feel like she's got this great resolve, like when she really believes in like what she's saying. I guess that's just what acting is meant to be. Giles says it might open a door that she won't be able to close. And Buffy says, don't put yourself in danger, chick.
And I don't want danger. Big no to danger, but I may be the best person to do this.
To be fair, I would have thought Giles would have been the best person to do it. But
yeah, same.
But YOLO swag. And I love, Xander says, hi, to those of you who've just tuned in, everyone here's a crazy person. And Xander says, who cares if it restores Angel's soul? He's a killer. And Buffy says it's not that simple. And Willow tries to stop him as well. Xander gets angry. And they get into a bit of a fight here about what to do.
Xander has a point.
You know, just for once I wish you would support me, and I realize right now that you were, and I'm embarrassed, so I'm gonna get back to the point.
And when Giles says curing Angel seems to be Jenny's last wish, Xander says, yeah, well, Jenny's dead.
Can't you hear what I'm saying?
Stop it!
That was so... Whenever Giles goes for him, I think your man, he does flinch a little bit. When he comes, he does it very quickly. It was really, really good. That's some good acting there.
It was really great, this whole like kind of screaming scene. And the way Buffy looks at Xander, I'll put it in here because it literally is like your actual mate who's pissed off at you. It just didn't feel like acting at all. Like when I was watching, I was like, she's literally looking at him like what the fuck? Oh my God. So that's going to be the running joke now for this episode. Willow asks Buffy what she wants to do, and she doesn't know yet because she does say what happened to Angel wasn't his fault, and Xander says, yeah, but what happened to Miss Calendar is.
You can paint this any way you want. But the way I see it is that you want to forget all about Miss Calendar's murder so you can get your boyfriend back.
This is quite an interesting scene here where both people are correct and both people are wrong. It is just matter of opinion. There is no right or wrong. This is just like both of your arguments have there's nuanced arguments there. Like you've got a point, both of you. It's like, and it is a point. You as a viewer either have to just side with this one or this one, unless the narration tells you to side one way or the other. What, am I taking this way too serious?
This is my dream come true.
No, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I quite like seeing, because he does a really good job of making a group feel like a real group.
Yeah, the look on Buffy and Willow's face here. Buffy walks out of the library while Willow continues to glare at Xander. And this is the first time we've really ever seen them as a group fight or get annoyed with one another. What do you think they should do, David? Should they be trying to give Angel his soul back?
Yes, I would always be redemption, yes. Because it's not Angel, you can't compare. I don't think it's... Yes, I do. Yes, yes.
It is a tough one.
What do you think?
It does make me wonder, well, then why aren't they just out here trying to re-ensoul every vampire? Angel only gets a chance because they know him, and that feels unfair.
Yeah, fair. That's a good point. But if you could, yeah, fair. That's a really good. That's a fair. That's a nuanced argument there, Tony. And I just am going to go back to, I'm a forgiver, not a punisher.
Like Jesus?
So we cut to the archaeologist, the architect Doug.
The architect.
We cut to the archaeologist Doug, and he hears some whispering sounds coming from the back of the rock, around the back of shops.
Say la vie. Have you got a fig? Has anyone got a fig? My throat's killing me.
Sorry. What is it? Is there a scary movie where there's whispering? It's like, what'd you say?
Check the music room.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Check the music room. Check the fucking music room.
That's so funny. So he hears a whispering sound coming from the big rock, and like an idiot, he goes and touches it. Drusilla pops up behind him, sinks her teeth into his neck, and Angel's like, save me some. And he does a wee face. He goes like, save me some. And he goes like,
He does that our evil bitch face loads in this episode.
but only with Drusilla and Spike, only with Emmons. You see that?
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. Maybe that is a choice. Maybe he's acting hard in front of them. Bullshit, David. Fuck up. And they steal the big rock. Basically, the vamps steal the big rock. In Buffy's room, we cut to Buffy's room. She's packing a big bag of weapons, and there's a huge knuckle duster on the bed. I hope it's a knuckle duster anyway.
Did you see the big knuckle duster?
I didn't.
I'd love to see her fight with a knuckle duster. But yeah, there's a big mad gold knuckle duster on her bed.
Have you ever had a knuckle duster?
No.
All right, me neither.
Why would I have a knuckle duster? Who am I going to punch?
You know, like estates, you just have people with like knives and shit. We just have like, there was that kid that just loved like the army.
No, I had a sword that my dad made me and a crossbow.
I love the idea of you grabbing the crossbow and your mummy and daddy like, where do you think you're going? Like, I'm going patrolling.
I did actually go patrolling.
Me crossbow in your back now. But like camp as fuck.
Yeah, I did. Like over in Hydebank, like going through the forest.
She's talking to Willow on the phone and she says she'll stop by after a couple of sweeps.
Yeah, Xander was pretty much being a... Willow! Where did you learn that word? My God, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Which I was going to ask you this question. And I only want one word. What'd she say?
Cunt.
Cunt. Big time called him a cunt. I immediately was like, called him a cunt. Buffy comes across the clattering and then we start to hear the beautiful theme, the love theme that we've got. And I have a little thing that I noticed here that I have a tidbit. You ready for the tidbit, Tony? You hungry for a little tidbit? I'm gonna feed you a little tidbit here, Tony. So what they are using to play the theme is like a electronica oboe sound.
That's why you're wrong.
You're wrong. Is it a flute?
A flute.
Oh, well, then it will be a flute.
I'll see you in a little while, okay?
We see her patrolling, the music gets tense, and we hear a branch snap, and out pops... Wee Kendra?
Oh, she's back.
I had no idea she was coming into this episode, so I was really like, what the fuck? And it was really nice the way they greeted each other. Obviously, there's a little bit of back and forth about, I could have punched your face in, I'm getting better at that now, and all this stuff. And I love that little, like, she wanted
banter.
to test your reflexes. Yeah, that little, like, I loved it. It was so, like, nice. And then it immediately made me think, Kendra's dead. Kendra says she's on the way to Buffy's house and seen her walking, couldn't help herself. And I have to say, and maybe it's because of the background or the backdrop of Angel's wonderful accent, but Kendra sounds like a full-on Jamaican person to me now. Her accent is comfy. She's just talking. I feel like she's just settled more. The actor is settled.
Yeah, she's settled into it. Like she's picked the island she's from, and she's literally
just wanted to test your reflexes.
Buffy guesses that she's there because there's a big dark power about to rise in Sunnydale, and Kendra says, I check. Buffy asks, any idea what it is, sweet chicks?
So then we cut to the mansion, and we see Spike, Angel, and Drusilla who've put the big rock in their fucking living room.
Gorgeous.
Spike sarcastically says, it's a big rock. I can't wait to tell my friends they don't have a rock this big.
He's brilliant. I love him. I can't wait to get more of him.
Angel tells them about a Cathla. A Cathla was a demon who came forward to swallow the world, and he was killed by a virtuous knight who pierced the demon's heart before he could swallow the world, basically. And a Cathla turned to stone, as sometimes demons do, and he was buried where neither man nor demon would want to look, aka Sunnydale, unless they're putting up low rent housing.
That's right. That's right.
So, they reveal a Cathla inside the rock, and he's a big hench-looking motherfucker, just out of pure gem. Spike says, "Let me guess, someone pulls out the sword, the demon wakes up, and wackiness ensues. They reveal that the demon will swallow the world and every living thing on this planet will be sucked into a hell dimension." A hell dimension? I was like, a hell dimension? A hell dimension? Who was it that used to speak like that?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to say it there, yeah, but
A hell dimension?
we were so mean. We were so mean to her. We didn't say it to her, obviously.
We didn't do that to her face. Angel says, "My friends, we're about to make history. End." And does his gay bitch face smirk. Every time he does that, I just want to like overlay Samantha from Sex and the City, being like,
You should put some of that in. That'd be so funny.
And Angel is literally like the queen of random lines that he thinks are class, but they're just shite.
They are shite. They are awful.
Like, history doesn't end because history is everything that came before. So history is actually a fully living thing in the present. Oh my God.
The prophecy is true.
I'm so smart. Also, did you watch Cleo's video with Brian Cox talking about black holes?
No, and I actually am so surprised. That is the first time I've heard you say black holes and cocks in the same sentence, and you're not talking about sex. So we're back in the library with Giles, and he's saying he's been on the phone to the museum. The artifact in question is missing, and the curator has been murdered.
Big Dog the architect has been murdered.
But he also says, like, vampires again. And I'm like, did they just tell you that on the phone?
Vampires.
Did they just say it like, it was the fucking vampires again, Giles? Raging.
I love how pissed off Giles is when he's saying this, because he's like, of course this is what would have happened.
It's not even pissed off, fed up. Like that fed up sound. This house, you know, your man's just fed up.
The artifact in question is missing and the curator has been murdered. Vampires.
And you're sure this was the tomb of Alfalfa?
Which I love the word alfalfa, because I always just think of alfalfa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alfalfa! He confirms that yes, it was a Catholic. No, a Cathla. And the
A Catholic? Oh my God.
Catholics really buzz off statues and we don't so much.
I do enjoy a good statue, it has to be said.
Protestants hate ABBA.
Giles basically explains that with one breath, a Catholic will create a vortex that will suck our dimension into a hell dimension, where any non-demon life will suffer eternal torment.
That would be the literal kind of sucked into hell. Neat.
Buffy tells Willow she thinks she should try the spell. Kendra agrees with Xander that Angel should be eliminated.
I'll kill him if I have to. But if I don't get there in time, or if I lose, then Willow might be our only hope.
I thought that was a smart way of Buffy being able to convince them that that was the right thing to do.
So yeah, Willow's like, I don't want to be our only hope. I crumble under pressure. Let's have another hope. As Kendra pulls out a big mad sword out of her bag. Blessed by the knight that first slew the demon. If all else fails, that'll work. And how the fuck did she get that on the plane? I'll tell you how she got that on the plane, Tony Webster.
Pre 9/11.
Pre fucking 9/11. She just went, I'm just bringing it to my mate's house. And they went, alright, sweet, work away. 9/11 really fucked everything up, didn't it? Anyway, Giles is like, oh man. I actually love that Giles is all like, ooh, let me have a go. I don't know, I'm talking like Stewie from Family Guy. He asks Willow how close she is to figuring out the ritual of the curse. She says she needs a day and an orb of Thessala, whatever that is.
Spirit vault for rituals of the undead. I've got one. I've been using it as a paperweight.
Very smart callback. I remember this when the little the wee dude that owns the shop with all the magic stuff. Isn't that him that sold it? And he says, "Oh, I sold it to a guy not that long ago."
I sold a bunch of these. There's no age paperweights.
I like that little calls back. Willow says she won't be able to help Buffy study due to having to prep.
Buffy's like, I'll wing it. Of course, if we go to hell by then I won't have to take them.
Or maybe I'll be taking him forever.
I actually really like that line. That's why I want you to say it. Giles tells him Angel has his own ritual to perform before he can awaken a Cathala, and hands Willow the orb, saying, with any luck, it'll take some time.
We cut to the mansion and Spike's out of his wheelchair, basically just pacing about the room, just trying to get his steps in, until Drusilla calls his name. And he's like, oh fuck, better sit down. Drusilla comes in saying, the fun's about to begin. Two vampires drag a man before Angel, who's spouting some ritual shout about being worthy to free a Cathala. Bear witness as I ascend, as I become. And he bites the guy. He gets blood on his hand and approaches the Cathala to pull the sword out. When we cut to Manhattan, 1996. I was there in 1998, just missed me by 2 years, oh my god. Cut to Manhattan, 1996, and we see a hobo-looking Angel stumbling into an alleyway. And I think he looks really hot as a hobo.
Doesn't look like a hobo. He looks too clean still. Do you know, like he's not wet enough. He's too dry. Yeah, he should be wetter. He should be just, whenever you see it, like, just like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that sweaty wetness, that like, it's not wet,
Yeah.
you're just greasy. You know, like when you've been camping.
Yeah, actually, I can smell him from here. And we see Angel try to catch a rat and eat it, and unsuccessfully does so. And he's approached by this guy who calls him disgusting and says he's given off the stench of death. And I was like, oh, is Angel on Manjaro? Angel's like, fuck off, and the guy mocks him, like, oh, what are you gonna do? Bite me? Oh, the horror, a vampire. And I love this guy's accent. It reminds me of like that shopkeeper from Passion. And then the guy says to him, nah, you wouldn't bite me. Sure, you have a soul. Poor tortured vampire with a soul. And when Angel asks who he is, the guy says, let's take a walk.
Answer the fucking question. Who are you? So we get the story that Angel's living off rats and not able to kill any living things because he has a soul. The guy tells Angel butcher shops are throwing away good blood daily. If he lived in the world a little bit, he'd know that. Angel again asks him who he is.
I'm loving this short king, to be honest. He says he's looking to find out who Angel is.
Not yet, but I'm looking to find out, because you could go either way here.
And I know they're talking about like destiny-wise, but I just kind of heard it like kind of sexy.
I didn't hear it sexy. That's why I said I wanted to say that one, but I kind of know what you mean. Angel says he doesn't understand him, and the guy replies, that's my curse. No one does. Which made me itchy to know who the fuck he is. I was like, oh, what curse? What's your thing? And then he just doesn't. He's a really good character, though. He's really well introduced. That's my curse. No one does, and reveals his name is Whistler. He reveals he's technically a demon, and not all demons want to destroy the world, telling Angel he can become even more of a useless lump, or he could become someone. He says he wants to show Angel something before Angel can decide what to do, but they need to leave now. Angel asks where it is. We cut to sunny Los Angeles, 1996. Angel and Whistler pull up in a blacked out car outside of school. Angel looks out the window and sees Buffy coming down the steps with her friends.
They did such a good job of like de-aging her, just with like costume choices and like the wig.
And I think just the way she's so peppy and like
Yeah.
not weighed down with the world of demons or something. But also like she looks tiny. Her head is tiny. And I actually made a point of going, when I see her in present day, does she look bigger? And she does look bigger.
It's a really smart way of doing that visually, and also really contrasts where she is now. Because when we look at Buffy now, dressed in like dark clothes and earth tones and with her bob, compared to like a white crop top and her like lollipop and her hair down to her hole.
I think she's wearing bright colours as well, I think.
So outside the school, we see Buffy having a convo with her friends about the school dance. Her friends say bye, and she says she's waiting on a guy finishing practice, and she's like, call me, call me, call me. She sits down and a man approaches her asking Buffy Summers. The man tells her there isn't much time. She must go with him. Her destiny awaits.
I don't have a destiny. I'm destiny free, really.
Yes, you have. You are the chosen one. You alone can stop them.
Who?
The vampires.
Huh?
This is great.
So good. We cut to Buffy in a graveyard at nighttime in a bright orange bubble coat, fighting a vampire, and Angel is watching from the shadows, which is kind of mirroring the start of the episode. She knocks the vampire over, grabs a stake, and she kind of looks at the watcher like what to do, and she stakes the vampire.
Oh, not the heart.
But she stakes him again, and screaming, falling back as he turns to dust. And I just think the look of shock in her face as it happens, mixed with horror, is like, it's just really well done.
Also, the sound design whenever she stabs him in the stomach is disgusting. It was
Like
great.
the squelch. Yeah. They don't really go any further into explaining that this guy is Merrick, her first watcher. Obviously, that's something we know from watching, if you've seen the movie, but they don't really flesh him out as a character or anything, which I think is interesting because it does actually make Buffy more interesting to think that she had a watcher already and he was
Mhm.
killed. So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
kind of like a deep thing there that I think maybe is a bit of a missed trick. Angel watches on as we see Buffy return home. And Joy's asking her where she's been, and we can hear Hank and Joyce fighting loudly in the background while Buffy's in the bathroom looking in the mirror and crying. Angel just watches on, like with tears in his eyes. I thought he played that part really well because that could have been
Yeah.
really naff.
Yeah, like I still don't get what the point is really. Why is he supposed to help? And then at that time I didn't quite get it. But so he does play it really well. Like that, he's so sad for her.
Because it is a kind of confusing thing to think, yeah, he sees like everything that she's probably going to have to go through and feels sad for her, but there's an even creepier element of being like she's 14.
Yeah, it's a bit voyeurist. Yeah, there was a bit of that. I felt a wee bit like this is a bit Twilighty, not quite fetus in the womb Twilighty, but it's not far away from it. Like,
And I also just love like crying into a mirror. Like, I don't know if you've ever like stood and cried in the bathroom or like looked into the mirror, and it makes you cry more because I love doing that.
it makes me stop because I just think I'm ridiculous and this is stupid. No one's watching. Why are you crying in the mirror?
No, I love it because my face like. But I think they played this part really well. Like, not just the emotion of like the trauma, but like literally having your life change overnight. And we're like, we've only met Buffy for these 2 scenes, but she is really good at conveying, I think, that weight on her.
Yeah, she's a good
And of
actor.
course, it was lovely seeing Joyce back in the olden days when she gave a fuck.
Sort of.
So back in the sewer, Whistler tells Angel that Buffy's going to have it rough. No shit, Sherlock, because of Angel. She's just a kid, and Angel says he wants to help her. He wants to become someone. And Whistler says it won't be easy. The more you live in the world, the more you see how much you don't really fit. Angel says he wants to learn from Whistler, but he doesn't want to dress like him. And I'm like, that's funny, because 2 years later, Angel's wearing a full face of makeup and leather trousers with a red silky blouse. Fruit.
Back in Sunnydale 1998, Angel puts his big bloody hand on the sword, about to pull it out of the Acathala. When he's knocked back, Spike makes fun of him by saying,
"Someone wasn't worthy."
He's so good because he's not. Do you know what I think? What the difference is? Like, Angel's like playing up, like being really, and whereas Spike, obviously, I think is a more seasoned actor. Probably James Marsden was. He's making the camera come to him. He's
James Marsters.
It's Marsters, sorry, not Marston. But there is a James Marston, isn't there?
Yeah, that's Cyclops from X-Men.
Yes. He does a thing where because he's still and he's quiet, it almost draws you. He draws the camera to him rather than being all like loud and boisterous. It's like the difference between stage acting and TV acting, I think, or someone talked about that. Like TV acting, you have to be really still, whereas on stage, as you know, you have to show the whole room. Anyway, I thought it was really cool. Angel's raging. Drusilla is going nuts as per, and I need you to say this line.
This is so disappointing.
She did do that. I was like, whenever I genuinely thought it was you doing the voice. Like that's like she's almost parodying herself.
Disappointing.
Take my strong hand, child. Angel says he must have missed something, and I love that Spike is pure laughing at him. I actually do love that Spike's getting his.
Like, do you see
comeuppance.
Spike literally? It's almost like it feels like it's a
broke.
moment that's not him acting. Yeah, he's like proper like laughing at him.
Angel says he'll do what we always do in times of trouble, turn to an old friend. Back in Sunnydale High the next day, the Scoobies are doing their tests. We see a cloaked figure walking the hallway and comes into the classroom saying, "Tonight, sundown, at the graveyard, you will come to him, you will come to him, or you will die, or more will die." In the library, Buffy is telling Giles that the girl who came in and blew herself up said that more would
Blew
die
herself up.
and she has to go. But she tells Kendra to stay with the gang just in case. And then also love Buffy's two-tone coat. I actually noticed this. The two-tone coat is unreal. Just big long coats are class. They just look
They
like
are.
they're going to kick the shit out of someone. It's very and this is all pre-Matrix as well.
Yeah, Pratrix.
It's basically now or never. They need to do the spell while Buffy is fighting Angel, which means at least Angel won't be doing the end of world ritual. Cordelia very smartly says, why doesn't Buffy just wait to see if Angel rings her if the spell works? But she can't risk him killing any more people. That was actually a genuinely good point. Just wait. See?
It was, and I just think at this point, Buffy should just be like, actually, yeah, who cares if Angel kills anyone else? She hasn't cared before, so like, why not?
True, that's a good point. As Buffy's leaving, Kendra stops her and gives her her lucky steak, Mr. Pointy. In case the curse doesn't work, Buffy's like, you named your steak? Remind me to get you a stuffed animal, which is so cute. And again, all I can hear is honk, honk, Kendra's dying soon, honk, honk. Yeah, and this is a cute little moment between them because it's again, like, it's like this is the only other person in the world that actually understands what it's like to be a Slayer. Like, she understands what it's like to be in her shoes. I got that feeling that this is a colleague. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That work thing. I just really liked it. It was really cool. It's now night, and at the graveyard, Angel shows up. Buffy says, should you be trying to pull the sword out of Al Franklin or whatever his name is? That was very funny, actually, to be fair. Angel says he wanted to say bye first.
You are the one thing in this dimension I will miss.
This is a beautiful moment we're having. Can we please fight?
I like that we can see him get under Buffy's skin when he's being like when he turns on the Angel face. Angel's like, I didn't come here for a fight. I want to see if you want to get back together. But all right, we'll fight. And that's where he goes, wacky arms. The crazy inflatable guy. When he lunges at her, his arms. Yeah, you were saying this here. And
Yeah.
our camp queen strikes again. He is so camp.
In the library, they're all set up for the spell, and there's some bones and stones, and the orb of Thessal is in the middle, and Willow's sitting on top of the big desk, the big table, and she gives Giles a nod to start speaking some Latin, and Cordelia's like walking around like with Sage as Willow starts the spell. Not dead, nor not of the living, spirits of the interregnum I call. I used to know this whole spell off by heart.
I remember you saying it. There's something he said in Latin that I think I'm so sure I've heard you say.
We cut between Buffy fighting Angel in the graveyard and the spell in the library. I'm loving the fights so far in the episode.
Yeah, they're really good. Their editing's so good.
They've settled into like a style for Buffy to fight now as well. And it's like less gymnastic and more like scrappy or something, which I like.
Yeah.
Kendra's guarding the library door. Xander is standing up at the stacks behind Willow when all of a sudden he's attacked by a vampire from behind. Two vampires burst through the library door attacking Kendra, and Giles tells the girls that they need to get out. They're like, get out! Get out! Get out! Xander's fighting a vampire. I think Xander's actually really brave in this section. Xander's fighting a vampire, and I think Willow's like trying to sneak around the stacks to try and help him when another vampire jumps up and pushes the library stack over on her, and she screams as she's pinned underneath. The vampire Xander is fighting snaps his arm, but he still manages to like fight him off. That snap was so...
that was gross.
Giles is fighting a big, bald, gay S&M vampire.
Yeah, what's the crack with this outfit?
Yeah, but Giles gets knocked out. Xander saves Cordy from a vampire about to attack her, and he tells her to run, screaming in pain from a snapped arm. She screams and runs like fuck. Kendra stakes one of the vampires and pulls another one off Giles, flinging him through a window into Giles's office.
So much action going on. And I like that they had to stop doing the spell and just get involved. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be one of those like you fight them off and they're like, oh, ominous to wreck them and all that shit. But it wasn't. It was like, no, fuck, we're going to have to fight the shit out of
Ominous
these.
to wreck them.
We cut back to Buffy and Angel fighting in the graveyard. Angel taunts her by saying, is it me or is your heart not in this? I actually thought that too a wee bit. Like she was throwing her punches or holding her punches. She says, let's finish this, you and me, to which Angel says, you never learn. This wasn't about you. This was never about you.
And you fall for it every single time.
And that's the moment where Buffy realizes, oh, fuck me. Yeah.
It's an ambush.
It's an ambush. Sander gets knocked out, and Kendra is now facing three vamps. I quite like that they surrounded her in that little way. As Drusilla enters the library, calling them off and wiggling her little fingers at Kendra. And can I say, finally, because she is quite menacing when she starts doing something. she does have big, mad, creepy, spindly fingers, and she's quite intimidating. I was like, this is all great. Why have you waited until the last 2 episodes of the season for her to do anything? Like, you could have been having her involved in loads of stuff, would have been great.
Slenderman has stepped up to the plate.
Indeed. Kendra and Drusilla fight as Buffy runs back to the school. We see her doing like loads of parkour, jumping over like bins and all sorts of shit, benches, things like that. It's really cool. And the editing, I think, is what's making this feel really, really good. Like the cuts that they're the choices that feels like, yes, they're giving us Buffy running through, but I think maybe before we'd have got a longer shot of Buffy running. So this time we're getting like Buffy jumps, cut to back to the school,
building that tension,
just keeping it, ramping it up, which is great because it's so good and you know exactly what's about to happen anyway. Drusilla gets the upper hand with Kendra and has her by the throat, telling her to look at her, and she hypnotizes her.
Bay in May.
And then she starts doing this little swaying thing, which shows that Kendra's been caught up in the little trance, and she slits her throat with her nail. And this is one of those we know.
It sounds so anticlimactic to say it like that.
But it kind of was a wee bit. I was expecting something a bit more like, I get this sort of like, you're not the meaninglessness of it. Like Kendra's so just another body to get rid of. But I also think there's a little, you can tell that it's obviously an early pre-watershed death.
Yeah.
Because you only see a very faint line. And when you see Kendra later on, there's no blood on the ground.
Yeah,
and
I
look for it, but I was like, I get it. I like, you can't show it. You just can't show that at that time. At that time in the late 90s, and also watershedy times in the UK anyway. And we find out that the vampires were really there for Giles as they drag him out of the library by his arms, which I thought they were coming for Xander.
Oh really? Why? Oh, to like have him as a hostage?
No, the purity thing, the thing that has to be like someone who's pure. Remember the person who could pull the sword out of the stone?
Oh, yeah.
King Arthur. I just basically thought for some reason it was going to be him.
Interesting.
It wasn't, though. I was wrong.
You were wrong, but YOLO. Buffy finally makes it back to the school right as she bursts through the doors that are opening the right way, which is great for this epic slow-mo run through the halls.
The slow-mo run was amazing. Buffy does good slow-mos. She's a really good runner.
Yeah.
So she's really good to watch.
Yeah,
she's
she is.
Really good to watch as a runner. Because she doesn't run like really like, she just...
If I'd be running in slow motion, I'd be like...
If I was running in slow motion, it would be like... tits here. You know, like that weekend that gets his tits to the weekend, GIF. The weekend does his... Yeah, that's me.
So Buffy's doing a slow-mo run through the halls, like to the great score and to a voiceover from Whistler, who says, "Bottom line is, even if you see them coming, you're not ready for the big moments. No one asks for their lives to change, not really, but it does." Buffy looks in horror at the library and notices Kendra's body on the ground, and she runs to it, like super sexy slow-mo when her hair all comes down. Like, it's... I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
And the Buffy Angel theme is playing. And Whistler says, "So what, are we helpless? Puppets? No, the big moments are going to come. You can't help that. It's what you do afterwards that counts. That's when you find out who you are." I don't really think there's a need for this voiceover, to be honest, but I get why it's there. But Joss Whedon is just... Joss Whedon, I think, likes to... It's almost like he's blowing his own horn and saying, like, I've got something really important to say. It's
I have so many more words.
You didn't even need to say it. Buffy puts her hand on Kendra's head as behind her the Popo have arrived, shouting, "Freeze!"
You'll see what I mean.